All right, we are recording lovely yin class this evening. All right, so let's sit up nice and tall. Just take a few moments to see how we feel this evening. Are you noticing anything in your body that feels a little uncomfortable, that may be needing attention today as we practice? And before we begin our intention and our chant, just scan the body and check in with the breath. Maybe relax our shoulders just a little bit, and our jaw and our face. Let's bring our hands to our heart. If you'd like, let's chant 3 ohms together, taking a deep breath in. Om. 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 And repeating the intention after me. May I be free from fear and harm. May I be content as I am. May I be at peace with whatever comes. We'll take our left hand to our lap. Begin using the right hand for alternate nostril breath. You can follow along with my instructions or just continue on your own. We start in the summer by the left nostril. So we'll close the right nostril and take a little bit of time, maybe even a full minute of just breathing through this left nostril, which is our cooling energy. When you feel ready, you can begin the alternate nostril breath by exhaling through the left side, closing that left nostril, inhaling through the right. Close the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale right. Inhale right. Close, exhale left. And just continue on your own. And on the left side again, just maybe 2 or 3 breaths, left nostril only. Then returning your hands to your lap. Checking in with a full deep breath through both nostrils. When you're ready to mindfully, slowly open your eyes, let's stretch both legs out in front of us for just a minute. Rotating ankles, stretching out our feet. I'm going to do forward fold here with one leg at a time. So if you know you need any props, you can put a block underneath one of your knees, or you can put a bolster on top. So we'll start by drawing that right foot in. And if you want to use a bolster to rest your head on, you can do that. And you can also use your hands if that helps. But do try to get a nice long stretch in the back of the leg. So you can soften this left foot. It doesn't have to be flexed, and just allow yourself to slowly draw that belly in and allow gravity to bring your chest a little closer towards the leg. Let your arms be comfortable, so you can have them resting at your sides on your leg. supporting your head, whatever feels good. So take a few moments in this first minute and wiggle around to find that perfect pose for you today. There's a little bit of stretch in the back of the leg, maybe even low back. Can you make your neck and head comfortable in whatever position that you have found? And then take a few really long, deep breaths and see if you can still the body. And take your next deep breath. Push your hands into the earth so you can slowly lift your upper body back up. Keep our eyes closed and just stretch both legs out in front of you and just take a moment before we go to the other side. Maybe noticing how you feel on one side of the body compared to the other. And when you're ready, just mindfully bring that left foot in And if this side is a little tighter, maybe you need a block underneath your bent knee, or you need a little bit more support with the bolster. And again, just take your time. Deep breath. It's reminding you that that first minute is kind of just to settle in. See where the pose is, see where you need to make adjustments. A lot of yin is gravity assisting poses. So maybe in these forward folds, you can begin to feel the heaviness of the upper body as it just releases forward. And with your exhalation, you can begin to release some tension, and over the next few seconds, find a place of stillness within the pose. Taking a nice deep breath in, place your hands on the mat, pushing yourself up. And again, let's just spend a few seconds stretching the legs out in front of us and noticing how we feel on both sides of the body. So we're going to do our really easy child's pose twist today. So we'll just take that bolster and we'll lay our right hip on the bolster. And if you can, you'll bring your knees together, feet together. And let's try to bring the whole chest to the bolster. And you've got a couple of options for your head. You can either put your head down so you're looking towards your knees, or if you want a little bit more for your neck, you can turn your head in the opposite direction of the knees. Also, the option is just to put your forehead down on the bolster. So whatever feels appropriate for you. I just let my arms rest at my sides. You could also place them underneath your head if you wanted. So real simple little pose. Let's close our eyes and just take a few deep breaths. The knees can be close to the bolster or as far away as you need them. So in this one, we're bringing our awareness into the lower belly, lower diaphragm for some really full, complete breaths. As we twist, it's good for our digestion. So thinking about that particular area of the body as we twist. As you gently decide to release from this side, or just come up into all fours. It seems to be the easiest. And after a moment or so on all fours, you can work your way to the other side, bringing your left hip down towards the bolster and working on the left side. And so as you get settled, take notice of your breath. Have you been paying attention and breathing nice and deep, or has your mind been wandering and the breath is secondary? Bring that awareness again to the digestion. Take a moment, find your breath, work your way onto hands and knees for a moment before we transition to that next pose. If you need just a moment or two to hang out on hands and knees, or you can do a little bit of your cat-cow movement if it feels like you want to stretch the back in a different way. Now that we worked the back, we are going to do, that we relax the back, we're going to do a little bit of a back bend. So I'm going to do Cobra at level 2 today. But if you want to do level 1, just place the elbows on the mat. On the mat. And they will be out in front of you if you're on the mat. The elbows are out in front of you a little bit, front of the shoulders, and the palms can be down. I'm going to actually use the bolster today, so my elbows are going to be a little bit forward of my shoulders, and I'm going to place my hands on my elbows. And this gives me a little bit more of a back bend. So this is level 2 of Cobra today. And just check in with your legs. So sometimes we like our feet apart, a little wider apart. Sometimes we like them closer together. So see how it feels on your low back. And then we're not letting our head completely drop, but we're going to relax our shoulders, pull our chest through just a little bit so we have some support to the shoulders for our neck. And just find a comfortable place for the neck. So we're maybe bringing our gaze down a little bit more than forward. And our neck's just not hanging there, but there is a little support there, we feel. It's a shorter pose, so take some deep full breaths into the chest for this one. We want the awareness in the upper body. And you can do more of a stronger breath practice for this if you'd like. So we could do a little bit of a Ujjayi breath. As you release this pose, you can just come right down onto your belly. So release any props that you have. And your arms and everything can just relax to the side or underneath your head. And just let your belly completely and your body completely rest for just a minute. All right, so we're going to move into pigeon on the right side. So you can do it on your back if you want, but I'll show it to you on this side. So let's bring that right knee up. And remember, this front foot does not have to be 90 degrees. It can be closer to your body if you want. You need to place a block underneath your right butt, you can. And you can also place any kind of support underneath your chest should you need it. Let me get it so we can show you if you want to. You can do that. You can rest on it like this. Or if you can rest all the way to the floor, then please do that. So there always can be a little bit more weight in your right butt cheek there. Kind of settle it to the floor in this pose or to a block or anything that you need. A blanket is good too. So let gravity assist you here as well. So if you are able to place something underneath your head, even if it's just your hands to support your forehead here, you want that lower body to really release. There's lots of releasing that needs to happen in this pose, and it takes some time, a little bit of time for those big muscles to relax. So if we don't have to worry about our head and neck, and they can be supported or on the mat, then the rest of the body can feel relaxed and supported as well. So we're taking mindful breaths into the lower belly, lower diaphragmatic breaths. And see if you can pull that energy away from the upper body and settle it really deep into those right glute muscles. And if you haven't already, find a little stillness in the pose. some big muscles releasing here. So take your time. I'm going to say let's even come to hands and knees before we go to the other side. And if you'd like to do a little bit of your cat-cow, or if you feel ready, you can go right to the other side if you'd like an extra 30 seconds or so. All right. If you haven't already, let's get that left side just as warm and released as the right. So bringing that left knee up, making any props underneath that left side. So take the time as we begin to really sink into that left glute muscle. Let a lot of weight sink right into there. And again, once we found our lower body and we feel little the discomfort in the pose, we're working those muscles, then let's relax the head and make sure that it is also supported today. Taking a nice deep breath. We're going to be on our back for the last pose in Shavasana, so we can go ahead and just swing that back leg up. I always forget it this time, and I need a little bit of light on me. Got kind of dark in this space. All right, so I don't think you'll need your bolster. But if you want a little bit more for the shoulders today, and you don't have to, but if you want a little bit more for the shoulders, you can take that blanket and we'll roll it up on the long end really tight. We've done this pose often. I think we probably do it every class just because it's one of my favorites. And it's 2 poses in 1. So if you want to do this part of the pose for the shoulders, we'll place the rolled up blanket right underneath the shoulder blades, so right at the base of the shoulder blades. And so that when we come down, the shoulders and the back of the head are resting on the mat. And then we'll bring our soles of our feet together for Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. And if you're really tight and you don't want gravity to assist you in this hip opener, you can place blocks underneath your knees, or you can just let gravity release these deep hip flexors here. You could even put some weights on the thighs if you think about it next time. So there's a little bit of pressure underneath the blanket where my shoulder blades end there to give my chest a little bit of lift. So I'm also going to take the arms out in a little bit of a T position and turn the palms up. And if that feels good, you can kind of wiggle around and find that perfect pose for you today. And in this particular pose, our emphasis is working on opening the heart. And obviously we feel little shoulders, but working the heart as well. So there's this deep energy and this deep breath right here in the center of the heart, our heart chakra. So we haven't done that yet today. Well, we did it in Cobra a little bit, but pull that energy up into the heart center. And in Cobra, I had asked maybe if you wanted to do a stronger breath, like a Ujjayi breath. But this time, as you inhale, focus on maybe expanding the chest. And then on a really long exhale, feel the back of the chest where that blanket maybe is, or the floor is, and releasing a little bit more. So the exhale is a lot longer at this point. And settle in now, make sure that the body becomes still. In your next couple of breaths, take your time to release the legs first. And then when you're ready, you can take that blanket out from underneath your shoulders. And we're just going to come into Shavasana. So in Yin, they always say, let your body just lie on the floor in a big letter X. That is up to you if you need any bolster underneath your knees for your final pose. Or you could even do the final pose seated, or you could do it on your side, whatever your body feels comfortable with. Let's take these last moments of class before we go into a really deep Shavasana. Let's actually do what we did at the beginning of class and just take a moment and scan the body. Scan the body. Notice how it is feeling. Is there any adjustments that you need to make in Shavasana to make it most comfortable for you today? Or as you scan the body, do you notice the spots that you had come to class with that were a little tight or aggravating are now released? If you find some leftover spots of challenges in your body, just say to yourself, I do not need to hold this in my body today. Do not need to hold this in my body today. And start to shift your awareness into the third eye between the eyebrows. In yoga, it's called the Anjana Chakra, chakra of wisdom, intuition, awareness, knowledge, all wisdom. You can bring your thumb and first finger together in mudra of this chakra, this wisdom chakra. Try to relax your eyes and relax your face and focus on that space between your eyebrows. Maybe you see a color or light, or maybe not. Maybe you don't see anything, and that's okay too. Let yourself soften into that space. And slowly bring our awareness back into our evening. Let's release our hands. Place one hand on the center of the chest, one hand above the navel, and just take a few moments of breath. This is a good way to awaken back into the day. It's a grounding mudra, actually. I do it sometimes when I wake first thing in the morning if there's some anxiety when you wake, or actually even if there's anxiety when you sleep, you can put your hands here in these two spots and breathe. And mudra that helps ground us in our heart, in our bellies, where anxieties and fears, challenges seem to lie. You're welcome to stay here if you need to. There's no need to get up. But if you would like, take your time to gently roll to your side and come back to a comfortable seat. We'll bring our hands together at our heart as we begin class. When we're grounded, then when we begin, let us chant a final Om together. Deep breath in. We bow our heads to our hearts in gratitude for just showing up in our practice and our mats today, and giving ourselves the blessing of the teachings. Namaste.